All right. Good afternoon. Happy Friday to everyone. Welcome back. After we did not make it too far through the stream last week, anybody who was watching will know that I got cut off and my power went out. It was out for a little bit over 24 hours last week, and then it came back, thankfully. And we're back this week. Knock on wood. Fingers crossed. There's no storm or any kind of issues, hopefully, for right now. So hopefully we're good to go. And we're going to give it a try again this week. For anybody that is new or did not catch last week, or you don't know what I'm talking about or who I am or anything else, my name is Tim. I go by Foamy Guy on GitHub and Discord. This is the Deep Dive live stream program, which is a weekly live stream where we are working on CircuitPython stuff. If you don't know what CircuitPython is, you can learn more at the main website for the project, circuitpython.org. This is basically a version of Python that runs on tiny computers called microcontrollers, such as, for instance, this one right here with this little display on it. This little thing has a computer on it that can run CircuitPython. What that means is when we plug it into the computer, it's going to show up like thumb drive, and we can edit a code file on there with some Python code in it. And when we save that file, the microcontroller, the little computer that's on that device, will execute the Python code for us. And we can write code that interacts with various hardware peripherals that are either built into the device, like the display in the case of this device here, or other peripherals that are connected via the I/O pins that run along the edges typically, such as these NeoPixels down here at the bottom, which this is not actually live, so let's fix the camera while we're here. That's interesting, though. I don't know why it wouldn't be live. Looks like the server is dead. So there's that. How's it going, Beautograph? Dave Odessa over on YouTube. Let's see, was at the dentist last Friday. Unexpected dentist, but went smooth. Good, nice to hear that it went smooth. Hoping for good weather tonight. Yep, so far we're looking good. How's it going, Michael Pacusa and C. Grover? Yep, fingers crossed here as well. Oh, interesting. Finally loaded. Boy, it's very interesting. So it's live in the preview on the screen, but it is completely slow here. Did I mess up the... hmm. Well, we may not be having too much of the top down cam. Okay, there we go. We got our usual crash the first time we load it. We're getting closer to normal, even though it's for a crash. Yeah, the camera's definitely got something weird going on with it. I'm gonna reboot this. Awesome. Can't touch. Okay, we'll do that. Hopefully that will self out with the reboot. Anyway, where was that before I got distracted by the camera? Devices connected to them. Yeah, so we're writing Python code for these devices. In particular, today I'm going to be doing some testing on some library PRs, which is what I had in mind to do last week. So we're kind of just picking up where I was intending to go last week, which is doing some testing on some submitted library PRs. Leave on airplane mode, I don't know. We want Wi-Fi, and we want the camera to go. And we want to be able to touch the parts of the screen that are important to make those things happen. That loaded way faster. So I kept that one. For this. Oh, are you? Okay. Okay. Close that. There we go. Okay. Yes. So, CircuitPython, which is what we're working on, is an open source project. Like I said, you can learn more about it, circuitpython.org. That's the main website. It's open source. Anybody's allowed to use it. Anybody's allowed to make projects with it. Anybody's allowed to add support to your own hardware for it. So if you design your own hardware, microcontroller device, you can add support to CircuitPython for that device. You don't have to pay anybody to do that. I mean, you might need a developer to help you, so you may need to pay a developer if you're not, one yourself. But you don't need to pay like a licensing fee or anything to use it. It's open source project. The company who funds it is Adafruit. This is their website, adafruit.com. They're the folks who pay the people who are working on the project. There's a team of folks who work on the project full time and are paid by Adafruit to do so. There are some folks like me who are paid to work on the project part time, including things like this live stream here, as well as working on libraries and PRs and infrastructure and all sorts of other stuff. So huge thank you to Adafruit for making it all possible. And of course, thank you to anybody who wants to support Adafruit and CircuitPython project by purchasing hardware from them at their website, adafruit.com. We are going to head right over to contributing page. For those that don't know, contributing page on circuitpython.org will list out all the open pull requests, all the open issues. So this is a good place to look if you're trying to find stuff to work on. In particular stuff in the library land, in the Python layer of CircuitPython, in the libraries that are helper libraries and driver libraries and things like this. And the ones I have off the top of my head in mind is starting to switch over these. I saw this come in a couple of weeks back. And then I know there's a bunch in the WizNet which are on the newer side. We will potentially get into some of the older ones as well. I have this thing, MLX 9640 thermal camera, which I intend to use to hook up and test some of the changes or some of the stuff associated with the changes in this one so that we can get this one finished out as well, which is one of the older ones. I think we're going to start on requests, one API at a time. Let's see, contributions API examples are not included in Learn Guides, documentation, baby steps. Yep, web scrapers, get the auth key from browser developer tools. If it's the same key, maybe we got it before. We'll have to see where we end up with the key. I may need to grab the key off screen or something. Unsure if I should embed. Workflow credentials. I'm not sure I follow what that means. Like, is there a test settings file or? Oh, interesting. What is AP? Oh, right, the AP password. Okay. Okay, yeah. Whoa, oh, I see what happened. SSID is a string up here and a variable here, and in my mind that makes it two entirely different things that are unrelated whatsoever, but obviously to get it's the same string, SSID. That's interesting. Even though it was a string here and now it's not a string anymore, and like, yeah, technically they're not the same, but I don't know what the emojis do. Do the emojis print out all right? I guess it depends on the platform. You're free to choose. Are you free to choose what you want to work on? To an extent, like there are times where I have more direct stuff, like go work on this project or go work on this piece of infrastructure, or stuff like that. But then there's other times where, yeah, it's just like, for me, it's kind of like there's a list of different tasks that I have been trained on how to do. So I will check in on those tasks, and then there's obviously like typically always going to be PRs, open library PRs, open library issues, which is always something that I will spend time working on as well, either doing the reviews or going through and working on issues or anything related to all that stuff. Helping people who like submitted a PR and it's failing actions or whatever, right? Like working with them to figure out what's wrong with it. If they abandon it, like if they submit a PR and abandon it, one of the things I've been doing lately is going back through the oldest PRs that are kind of inactive and either figuring out if I can get them in state where they're good enough to be merged or get them closed off with a note that says, hey, if you ever get back to this and want to do it, you can reopen it or start a new PR is fine as well. So that's the kind of stuff I do most typically, but yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag. Sometimes directed, sometimes more so just working on whatever is open that I find in GitHub. And then some of it is just like weekly tasks, checking in on this thing, doing this task, writing up this little blurb for the newsletter, hosting the meeting every couple of weeks. I'm in the rotation to host the meeting every couple of weeks, doing this live stream. I'm not sure about this part. Get the web workflow credentials. I don't think we want the. I'm not sure I understand what that means per se, but I don't think we want the web workflow credentials. If that's like the credentials you use to authenticate and use the web workflow, if that's what that means, I don't think we want that. We want this, the SSID and the password, so that we can connect to the network. And these happen to be the same keys that it will use for the web workflow network. So I think like implicitly this is the same network as that, and therefore there's some carryover, but I think there's a second set of credentials that's that prompts you when you first load it up. Yeah, thanks for the question. Good question. +1 for WizNet, just got to the 5500 EVB Pico. I'm not familiar with that one. Sounds like a RP2040 based thing or something. Oh, interesting. Pico, the Pico with a jack on the end there. Ethernet, looks like. Maybe somebody brought this one up during a stream before. Maybe we did look briefly at this one. Now that I'm looking at it, I get a little bit of deja vu. I'm not positive though, and even if I did see it before, I definitely forgot about it, so it doesn't really count either way. Interesting. It's like totally a stock Pico, it looks like, on the whole top half here, right? Like the way the ground pins are laid out and everything. And there's kind of like a dead spot on the real Pico down towards the bottom end of the board, and they've used the dead spot for the WizNet chip and then tacked on enough extra in order to be able to fit the Ethernet port. It's interesting. Neat little device. So you got one of these picked up, it sounds like. How much is this thing? So it shouldn't be that expensive, right? Maybe 20 or 30 bucks tops, something like that. Do you buy it? Purchase? Maybe we try somewhere else. Work phone. 1250. Not even. Yeah, not even 20 or 30. Nice. It'd be cool for a little hardwired IoT, like a temperature sensor or light sensor or any kind of thing like that if you wanted to feed it into some kind of home automation or something like that. Maybe garage door, some other basic on-off switch type stuff like that. Let's get the requests branch that we're working on here, which we're gonna go open requests. Maybe find in this list right there. There's a 5100 earlier. Okay, both are CircuitPython supported. Nice. Backwards. So we want, let's go like this. What are our remotes? Okay, GHPR list, GHPR checkout 6. And the changes are Yeah, all API Discord. I don't remember if I do have the Discord token or not. But I can also take a look. We don't have Adafruit. Oh wait, this is not it, is it? Request API Discord, yeah. Discord authorization. I think when we run this, we probably don't want to print that. Oh, it's not printing. Connect to the Wi-Fi. If we got a connection, print connected. While true, get the data. This could maybe be outside. Is this part new? It doesn't really matter either way, truthfully. In my mind, I think of it as like outside the while loop, since you would be setting it once and then it stays the same. Doesn't really matter. And I will say down here does put it like physically closer to the code where it matters, which is also kind of convenient. Okay, full API. So is this gonna have the well, it's false. Okay, so it's not gonna happen. So that's good. I'm assuming that is going to maybe have token? No, token looks like it's gonna go in the header. Okay. Okay. Oh, interesting. We changed to true here. Oh, debug keys? Wait, what is that, a different one? Yeah, debug request. Debug response. Okay, that's kind of cool. JSON, this would be all the data. Then debug keys. And I'm thinking keys, it sounds like keys, it would be like tokens or passwords or something like that, but I'm thinking this just means keys of the dictionary, right? And in our case, the keys of the dictionary that we're looking up is approximate member count and approximate presence count. So it's printing both of those. Finished, board, uptime, next update. If we fail, sleep, continue to go again, and also sleep for sleep time, which is 900 seconds, 15 minutes. Okay. I need to come over here for a second. Make sure that we're actually over here. Yes, okay. Do we have a Discord token before? Oh, actually, that's the wrong version of PyCharm. Really, we need to come over here with this one. Does not look like it. Of course, who knows what device I would have done that on. Probably not this one if I did run it. Though this does have like Steam. A couple API tokens on it. Not Discord. Okay, what does this say? Does it have, I think there's instructions maybe? So much better than Wi-Fi. Makes me think about most industrial grade stuff. Yeah, Ethernet for sure. Wi-Fi is super convenient, but very spotty. Should not be relied upon 24/7 mostly. For part of my work, we resell some hardware that has the option for Wi-Fi and Ethernet, and I'm like always trying to preach Ethernet to people if they really care about their thing being connected and getting updates and all kinds of stuff. One back thing. Yeah, this thing tells you how, right? So basically, if I recall right, this is just like stealing the auth token from developer tools when you go to the Discord page. Which I absolutely cannot do on camera, so you'll have to bear with me. And does the flower cover up the YouTube chat in the bottom right of the stream? Was it like that before? That must be like an overlay that YouTube is putting in. Interesting. Might want to try to shift around the chats a little bit, maybe. Okay, developer tools. Wow, that is a lot of build requests. My goodness. What's the token name? It's called authorization. Fed request header. But strangely below responsive. Have to be specifically. Surprised. But it doesn't seem to be in this request. Let's look in the cookies. Maybe, but not names. So those are particularly helpful. One of these might be, but find this one. So I guess let's try what it actually says, which is go to /messages what? Sorry, I know this is not the most riveting world since you can't see what I'm doing, but the nature of trying to get a token. Channels at me. Okay, well, I wish they would have put the full URL in this thing. Channels at me. Did I? Almost there, hopefully. Doesn't have that. Authority, method, path, scheme, accept encoding, accept language. This has authorization. But mine does not. It has cookie. We can see is the next one down here. Last commit was 2 years ago. Guessing it's just different now. Honestly, the fact that it's not here as authorization makes me wonder if it's going to fail from inside here, since that's how we're attaching it. How's it going, Axel? 51, 55, and 6100 work all about the same, just diff in the number of sockets and internal memory. 5100 is the one with a hat, stick on the PicoW, for example. It's double network going on there. Well, I don't know if we can get the, I don't know, how do we get the token? Honestly, I kind of wish we had like instructions to get like whatever the plan A for getting the token is from Discord. I suspect if you look in the Discord docs, plan A is not look in the developer tools and find it. It's probably go to your Discord developer dashboard portal thing somewhere and find a token. Slash API into the filter field. The filter field? What is a filter field? Search thing? No, this can't seem to find what you're looking for. Go log into Discord on a browser, open developer tool. Oh, filter in the developer tool. Wait, what? Okay, slash API. Okay, open the developer tools. I'm going to clear this. I'm going to refresh once. I'm going to filter on slash API. Okay. Touché. See that. To here. Back to here. I'm going to put that into settings toml under the key name of something. Discord authorization, capital D, capital A. With quotes. Save, close. Okay, go that. And What's this? Yes. Agreed. Thank you for the heads up. Hopefully I didn't. You didn't see me show it, did you? Okay. So we can go to code file, which is this, which is currently an example from HTTP server. We don't need to keep that. And grab this. We can put this in code. Let's still check that we're not printing anything crazy here. In fact, why don't I just run it once over here? I do need to save it before it will run, turns out. It's fair. I'd say it's fair. Okay. Yeah. No, that doesn't print anything crazy, so we're good to go there. Yoop. Okay, so that worked. We got 37,599, so we're one away from 37,600, which is cool, and there's 4932 online currently. Board's been awake for 37 minutes. The next update is in 15 minutes because it was set to sleep 900 seconds. It's all looking pretty good to me. We could maybe, let's control F secrets. Let's just make sure we have no more secrets. Okay. Good to me. I guess maybe it might be good to update this, but I don't know. I still think it'd be nice to point someone to the real documentation anyway. Maybe there's not good real documentation. During the top result on Google was third party. Yeah, none of these are like docs. Let's not just put it in their own docs for some reason, which is kind of awkward. Oh well. Calc got changed to a function here. Did load up the tunes today. Check mark. Is that a new line? Boot out. Something newer than that at this point? I don't actually know. Well, there's the full release, I guess, but And then there's commits in main, but no newer actual releases. Okay, or even like dev releases. Say thanks, so let's say thanks. .01 we are gonna do, because this is only a minor update that doesn't add any new functionality or break any functionality. I think the V's are above. Make this lowercase since it matches the font. This was from a while ago, Dave Odessa, but if you're still around and you are, I didn't think to say this before, but each week all the folks who work on the team write up a little couple sentences or so that end up in the newsletter that talk about what we did for the week. So you could find all of those for me in the newsletter archives, as well as all the other folks who work on the team regularly. Fill those in usually each week. That's another good way to see kind of a window into the stuff that we end up working on. Okay. Next. WizNet ones, I think. Yeah, let's look at some WizNets. In a little while since I messed around with WizNet stuff. Fixed DHCP socket leak. That sounds good. Nobody wants a leaky socket, right? Closes 121, moved all references to hardware sockets in DHCP to handle DHCP message. Receive response added. Try finally. Block to ensure that the hardware socket is always closed. Made the socket number a local method attribute since it doesn't need to be stored. Removed unused methods to initialize and release hardware sockets. Refactored DHCP module to use higher level calls to WizNet 5K instance. Renamed several methods in WizNet 5K as they are private and no longer called from outside. Added read socket reservations and read send port. What does that stand for? Sound port? Any sense? Standard? I don't know what send port would stand for. Methods to WizNet 5K to help dumping of socket state for troubleshooting. All right. Tested with the DHCP server without to force a timeout error. Hardware socket closed in both cases. Tests carried out with WizNet simple test on 5100, 5500, 56, 6100 chips. I have only one of those. I'm not even sure which one. It's the one on the Featherwing. And I will certainly test that one to the best of my ability. I don't think I have the ability to easily turn this on or off or use a different router that does or doesn't have it without impacting my actual PC and thus the stream and everything else. So we'll be testing on one that does have DHCP, and I will not be able to do the negatory side of that test. But we can test happy path at least. Leading underscore. These are good, I think. Leading underscores on these actually help make it optimized out by MPY, I'm pretty sure. If these have a leading underscore, I think if they have a leading underscore and the name, and it's a const. Both of those things? I think both of those things have to be true. I could be misremembering. I think though, if both of those things are true, then I think MPY strips the name. So like the amount of bytes that this name occupies gets crunched smaller because it strips out the actual name and uses, I don't know, a number, I guess, or something small to refer to it instead internally, like in the compiled MPY code. Whatever it's compiled to. I don't know if that might not be technically a correct way to call it MPY code, but yeah, this is basically changing a lot of these over from quote unquote public with no leading underscores to quote unquote private with leading underscores. I think it's right. I think that's right. Which part? Here, maybe. So I got to remember there's a delay too. Ah, okay. Right, the underscores. It substitutes the value inside const. Nice. I remember doing the test and seeing the size grow with that in one library. I changed a bunch of them just to see what would happen. Also, what's up, Scott? Nice to see you. Hope you're having a nice day. What do we have? Static method. Dang, this is a new one. It's return socket reserves though, so I guess the old code probably just did this directly. Socket is none. No more release. No more setup. But a lot of here. Okay, so we pass in the number now. Interesting. It's available. Available. So this must be number of available bytes, I guess. We're comparing here. UDP. This one's interesting. I want this. Hopefully this gets caught somewhere else and turned into a timeout. Be my guess. Because they even said back here, raise the timeout, right? In both cases? Yeah, timeout errors. Okay. Try to follow that. See if we can find. Although, well, return 0 bytes. Okay, I guess the crux in this case is that we did not time out. Well, I guess it depends how you think about it. No bytes received. I don't know if that implies we received a response, but it had an empty body, or if that could also be the case if we received like literally nothing. And like if we receive literally nothing, then I think it's more so a timeout and should raise the exception. If we got a response, but our response is an empty body, that's probably going to break our ability to DHCP, but it's also not really a timeout error per se. So I can see, and that's what it looks like. This is supposed to be returning the number of bytes stored in the global buffer, which is, I guess, whatever we read. Okay, those make sense to me. And I mean, honestly, even if that was 0, so I guess in the case where we got an empty body, this would be set to 0, or what's between bytes count and bytes read? Oh, well, one of them is the length and one of them is the actual data. No, maybe. Okay. Branches. Pylon happy. Pylon's not doesn't care for ifs, inside of tries, inside of whiles. But you got a lot of things to check. You try to structure it as multiple checks sequentially instead of nesting, but sometimes they're like additive. So if you do it sequentially, then you're going to end up with a bunch of like and ors in the logic. So response after X number of retries. I wonder, where do we call? Okay, from this, I guess, are finally here. Okay. Okay. Let's grab this one open. Look, been a while. So here, open WizNet, and then repo set default. Oh, that's not what it wants. Okay. That would be cool if you could just tell it the remote there. Probably would forget to do that, honestly, though. If I would have just read what it told me in the line before, then I would have done the right thing. 122. Copy that. Go to board. Strong. I wonder what's WizNet edited. This one. Probably an older PR, I guess. Okay, we can delete CodePy. We can grab the test. Do this, and it should totally fail this time because I don't have the Featherwing plugged in. I do have my auto reload turned off, so I have to do Control-C, Control-D. Oh, right, we have to fix that too. That is a thing that happens in this code. That would be a good opportunity for another thing to PR into this would be comment this out. Or if is there a stemma Ethernet thing? I don't think so, right? No, because this is SPI, not I2C, so it can't be stemma. We want board. This one. So yeah, right now we have no NetWing plugged in because it's right here. So we'll plug it in. I can't see very well off this side, which seems nice. It's probably not plugged in actually, so we'll get to see a different failure mode now, I think. Yeah, nice. Which I'm not 100% positive, but I'm thinking that that's actually a better error message than before. I think whatever we used to get was not that. I have forgotten to plug in the Ethernet cable before. It's not new in this one though. Okay, let me plug it in. Okay, I don't actually know if this switch that I plugged it into works. Whoops. Back on top. Back to here. Try again. We shall see on this one. This is like a secondary switch that is near my desk here, but yeah. We got. I do have some blink, but very possible that the switch is just not actually connected to anything else or having the ability to DHCP. So let me plug it into a different one. Okay. You're at max capacity on the main router, so I had to find something innocuous enough to unplug. Okay, now we got a connection. We got our responses. We are looking good. So we tested something that can't DHCP properly. We got connection is down. We tested not plugged in at all, like the Ethernet cable not plugged in at all. We got connection is down. We tested no WizNet module connected to the SPI bus. We got no failed to initialize, which is good. Is there any other? Is there a second example that got touched or no? Oh, okay, right. Yeah, none of the examples got touched, just two of the files, WizNet and WizNet DHCP. Okay, maybe let's try one or two more of the examples here. So, simple server. Also, we will need board. Then we will also need the thing that connects to it. 207. On client. Don't support with it. Oh. Oh, right. Yeah, no, we need to change it here. Run this. And we should see it print from both sides. So we sent a bunch of A5s to it. We received a bunch of A5s back because the server is just a echo thing. But we should be able to see it on both sides. So we see it getting received here, and then on the actual microcontroller, the CircuitPython code, we see it getting received here as well. Got another DHCP connection. We were able to start up the server just fine. Let me undo the change here. And let's see, is there anything else we want to test for now? Lights is like a third-party API, I think. You can just fetch the current color. That's how that works. Pretty much more or less the same as simple test, as far as our tests are concerned, really, but oh. I think it did not. I think I restarted it before I saved the code file. There we go. Oh, library fancy LED. Gotta run. Turn in now. Thanks. Good night, all. Yep. Take it easy, Debodessa. Nice to see you. Hope you have a good night. No module named fancy LED. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. Got a color. Cool. So this would be, I think, technically like big number, I think, because it is non-backwards compatible. However, the portions that it's non-backwards compatible with are stuff that is unlikely to have been used externally. But it might be worth a quick check to verify. So let's go maybe guide is here somewhere, but I don't see it. There it is. Don't think there's very many learn guides that do Ethernet stuff at all, truthfully. I think it's very unlikely we find any of these, but a quick check. Then the exception type changed from timeout to connection, down exception breaking. Potentially. I don't. Yeah, I guess that one place where we got the 0, I don't know exactly how to test that, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to test that 0 response to tell if the old version, like what the exception type was in the old version versus the new version. I don't know a great, or really any way to check on that. So it is possible that that changed, and that would be another potentially breaking change, which is also more, I guess, incentive to change the major number. These are repeats. Yeah, how's it going, DJ Devin? Getting DHCP timeout errors in Arduino, so half noticed. I gotcha. Yeah, I was a couple of versions back, like maybe 5 or 6 versions back on the Ethernet library. A couple of folks have done a fair amount of work on it in the past couple of months, maybe. But a few versions back, it was in a state where my network was not really playing so nice with it. I was getting a lot of that DHCP error, not being able to get the IPs and stuff. But there was a PR within the last couple that fixed the reliability quite a bit in a way that really helped it on my network, at least, for sure. If there's anything interesting in here, DHCP client module is not releasing the socket. It'd be good to know, I don't know another way really to check if like the release is working properly. I don't know how to like make the leak do something problematic. I presume if we were to use the socket afterwards, it would be wonky or something, maybe. Be good to have sample that actually showed what the ramifications would be of that, but whoops, whoa. Simple server, and the cheer light one, cheer light. Need a DHCP server code pie that fires bad packets or deliberately doesn't respond excessively before thing. This case, yeah. I do not know enough about DHCP myself, probably. DHCP is kind of, in my mind, a black box that I depend on to just work and get an IP, and not really ever thought much more about it. All right, I got this. Yep. Oh, I should have mentioned. Oh, wait, that already counted as approved, right? Just edited. If I would say too, though, if you know how to make that test case and are interested in submitting a PR, that is definitely would be an appreciated contribution, I would say. So I think we'll go we'll go 4. Yeah, we're gonna go to 400. Because it is backwards, it is breaking change. It is not backwards compatible, even though it's like perhaps unlikely to be a thing that a person was doing in a way that would not be backwards compatible. It is still technically like if they were, then would need to change the code. So I'm gonna get actually a different. Oh, wait, what? Oh, I see. Okay. Get one of the less complex piece. Oops. Move the NTP client. Brent's already looked at this one and approved. I wonder. You just use NTP library or move to WizNet NTP. I don't know what that was. Remove the client module by deleting the file. Build the docs. Build the docs with Sphinx. References to NTP client do not appear in docs. Client is not accessing any of the example files. Modify Sphinx conf to build with docs. Changes reverted before putting. Move NTP from here. Move all these requirements. Any of these talk about why we want to remove it? Guessing that it can be used with the library. Client not working with Crony. From my point of view, WizNet NTP client's not working for Crony and probably NTPD. Or it have to do with packet buff stuff. Why is the length of the request expanded to 56 bytes? The request should have a length of 48 bytes. Change it to this, then it works. For example, that on the NTP library does in fact use 48 BR. Disregards, maybe, not sure. An NTP client that receives out of sockets error after some time. Can anyone tell if it's... Oh, hey, did that one close the issue? Sometimes these are linked and they close automatically, but sometimes they're not. Okay, 121. Okay, it did. Those sound like the same thing though, maybe. Two threads using sockets and implementation to make sure that's an issue with NTP. I wrote an NTP thread using NTP library, and that eliminated the problem. That leads me to believe that's an issue with the library. That's, are they compatible enough to deprecate? To be mitigated the function. Following hasn't thrown any errors. Has kept the correct time for the last week. It's using NTP library now instead of anything from WizNet. Have a look at the error handling if it's incompatibilities. They likely are. Adafruit NTP doesn't trap any exceptions, so it will work with WizNet. Best way to deprecate the... Maybe, you know what I should have done is maybe done a couple of these PRs together and then one major release. Then we wouldn't have been, because this is probably going to be a major release as well. But, oh well. Release numbers are free, as they say. Exception who explains the change. That explains. For any examples or change this cat name is delete the code or make it raise non-implemented and do a major version bump. Okay. So we want to. Is there a? That one won't be the computer right now. Okay. Interesting that there was no code that used it. But Wisnet 5k underscore NTP. Nope. I would be pro having an example somewhere of how to use it with NTP library. Doesn't exist already. Yeah. It would be nice to have an example that does show how to use NTP library. One of those. That one with the longer chain. So this one they just changed. One is okay. This is sample code that was using it the old way. This is sample code that's using it the new way, but it is also async. Okay, tell you what, let's make a new issue. Separate thing. How to use Wisnet 5k with Adafruit TP in order to fetch the current time let's see, they said they built the docs and it worked fine. Also, it passed actions, which would have built the docs. That should be fine. Not really cost us anything to give it a quick try. Be right back. We gotta run to the restroom too, actually, so be just 1 minute. Okay, we're back. Here's a start. Nice for the WisNet NTP example. Is that the one? Is that the async IO one, or is this a different one? Oh, did not copy. Oh no, it is not the async IO one. Nice. Automatic time zone offset, just one line of code, very simple. Might start using that. Gonna have to get my headphones if that keeps going. There's like the squeaking of brakes on a big truck or something, but I did not see a big truck out there. I don't know where it's at, but it keeps squeaking. Be able to take it for too much longer. Next, on the next week, we're gonna run and grab the Bluetooth earbuds real fast. All right, BRB. Okay. Okay. Doesn't matter really. I think we need parentheses here. Let's say any code that was using the built-in NTP module from this library will need to be changed over to use Adafruit NTP instead. NTP is required for WizNet. I don't think so. You can't hear it, no problem. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, for for what it's worth, I am selfishly concerned with my own sanity more so than coming through the stream. I am glad that you don't hear it, but I figured I have a noise gate set up inside of OBS. I figured I probably wouldn't make it past that since it's like somewhere else. I'm not sure where it's coming from, but my microphone is also very directional, pointed pretty much right at my mouth, so any sound that comes from any other direction does not hardly get picked up at all by the microphone, and then even after the microphone picks it up, if it does, there's a noise gate filter inside of yeah, so it's pretty good at dropping out anything from the background usually. Yeah. Oh boy. 4.0, 5.0. Did that automatically close 114 and 1? Weird. Huh. Isn't NTP required? Wasn't that NTP example just because the wasn't that NTP feature? Is required for WizNet. I don't think it's required for WizNet unless if you like unless if you want to know the current time, then and you want to find it through an NTP server, then you're like using it. But if you just want to make a like HTTP request to the Adafruit simple test thing or to a standard API, if it's HTTP only, then I don't think you need NTP for it. If it is SSL, I'm not sure. I don't know. Might need to set the time somehow. NTP would be one way that you could set the time, but I'm also just not sure at all. Of course, if IDF does have feature for getting the time behind the scenes, we don't expose it to CircuitPython. Or more effective, it would tell me what the song is. Got an ad in YouTube that's a full song. A song I probably would listen to again, but I have no idea who it is or what song it is because it doesn't say. I'm not going to click the thing to open the link for the advertiser, so we'll listen to it now and see if it comes up again ever. To be honest, for home projects, turn off certificate validation. Depends, yeah, depends. If it's like exposed on your network, making requests out to the world, depending on what it's fetching, I probably would not recommend doing that if you have any option not to. Now, if it just doesn't work, then you don't really have an option, but some projects might be required, but not always. Just if it's required for the packet timing. To the best of my knowledge, no. To the best of my knowledge, it's completely optional. Like you could choose to do an NTP request and figure out the time, or you could choose to just not and do your other stuff. And as far as I know, it will keep working. I'm gonna do a request on this one. Anybody is so inclined wants to take a look at a VR, would appreciate it. Some eyes on that one. We have here fixed swap in socket connect. Fastidiously Closes 129 prevents listening for connections on hardware socket 0 and making unused socket as marking unused sockets as reserved when accept is called on hardware and hardware socket 0 is available. Oh. C1 Raspberry Pi Pico Internet WizNet hat 5100. 50 socket visualize. The socket. Whoa. Well, that's fancy. Can we run this? I want to run this. Run this. First of all, definitely deserves the old star, actually. It's like terminal color tricks, I think. See if we can run this. It's a bit of a detour, but this looks like a cool thing. I'm happy to try this out because it looks cool. Show it off to more folks who might find it useful. So let's see. Let's grab this. Is this in the community bundle? Probably not. It doesn't have a release yet. So if it were in the bundle, I think it would break. It's the actual repo. It's Python WizNet socket visualizer. Look at Let's Encrypt. Oh, I missed a couple of these. Yeah, Let's Encrypt is awesome, by the way. I use Let's Encrypt for certificates on servers. Also, associated shout out / hug report goes to Certbot, CERTBOT. Certbot is a tool, a command line tool for interacting with Let's Encrypt in order to issue and renew your certificates, which is super helpful. So, thumbs up to both Let's Encrypt and Certbot. Yep, you'd have to renew it 90 days. That's true. You can set it up to happen automatically though. Cron. Learned about terminal colors from JP and did a parsec on it. Nice. I must have missed that one. I saw that JP has made a new repo to store the parsec code snippets. I don't know if he has the old ones or if he's planning on going back and putting the old ones in. I kind of suspect maybe not. Like they might have just been something you worked on at the time and they're maybe not around anymore. Some of them also would have need to be updated for new APIs and stuff like that. Maybe at some point we might spend some time going through the older parsecs though and working through them and rewriting the sample code to submit to that repo, because I think it would be super awesome if that repo was loaded up with all of the code from all of the parsecs. All the relevant code, right? Like if it's like an offhanded thing that's not necessarily something you can run yourself, then maybe it won't make as much sense. But any kind of sample that's in there that other people might want to run, I think it'd be great to get into that repo, and I'd be willing to spend some time to go through some of the older ones. So maybe we'll do that one of these days. All right, we're gonna get the. I'll just copy this. Do we need anything else? Do we need this? No, I don't think so, right? Copy this. I'm gonna drop it onto my device. I'm gonna put it just on the root, but I'm gonna rename it from main to something else. We're gonna name this WizNet socket viz. And we're going to make some tweaks to get it to run. We need to have CS pin be correct. Or .d10. I'm just going to not do any of those, I think. I don't know where reset, seems like reset comes into the mix anywhere here. Spy bus there. Okay, we will. Let's not do this. Set pin, I commented out. One's actually done. Keep that. Interesting. It looks like we need to connect to the server. Maybe not. Maybe so. I don't know. We got some stuff. We got definitely lots of pretty output. Emojis, we got colors, we got links. Alright, board. Other S3, Python, 820 beta 0. That would be, I guess, driver version, which it doesn't know about because I copied it from the repo instead of the bundle. This would be filled in if we got it from the bundle, I think. 5500 has 7 sockets. 0 can't be reserved, so I guess we have 6 or maybe 8, I suppose, is the total, but 0's taken out. Dead beef, 207. Got an okay. Listening for connections on socket 1. So right now, socket 0 is closed, 2 through 7 are closed, and 1 is listening. And I don't know of a very easy or convenient way to connect to this. I guess the CPython, but I don't know what, is it like sending? Is it receiving? Does it do anything when you send it data? Server accept. Accept incoming connections. Doesn't look like it ever reads. So if we connect to the socket, then it should maybe send us back some data as soon as we connect. Doesn't look like it ever reads what gets sent. So theoretically, maybe we can go into this one, put this back to how it was, change the port also, 3.1. And we don't really want to just send all this stuff. Should have maybe. Okay, so in our while true, I think we want to connect. I don't think we want to send anything. We do want to try to receive to see if we receive anything and print it if we did, and then we close and then we sleep. and then we loop and do it again. We got some more print going here. We did get a response here. But this thing sure does not really seem to know how to print it out fancily if it's intended to be doing so. Oh, interesting. This time it seems like it's switched to 0. Got an established in there as well. Cool. It is switching between 0 and 1, which is kind of interesting. Thought it said 0 couldn't be used. But I guess maybe it does it for you sometimes? I don't know. Or maybe that was a different device. Maybe that was 5100. I'm not sure. That could be. Trip out for the win. Got lazy. Use virtual min GPL. Auto renews for Let's Encrypt and set up new subservers in seconds. Nice. Using checkmark and X for connection status in REPL lately. It's much easier to spot. Emoji support has proven to be a lot more helpful than I originally thought. Yeah, it is nice to have stuff that stands out really well. Let me give you that. I want to close for some reason, so let's stop. Okay. Cool. That is Fast8516 CircuitPython WizNet socket visualizer. WizNet 5K socket visualizer. Interested in Ethernet and sockets and stuff, check that out. Oh, maybe we got 0 because we didn't actually use the new version. That could be. Yeah. I can't say as though I fully understand the issue, I guess, of what's going on, really. Maybe the way that it was bouncing back to 0 and 1 was actually the issue. Maybe we were seeing the issue. Uh-oh. Import file names with emoji? I don't know you could do emoji in file names at all. Pretty crazy. I think Scott at one point played with like emoji. Like you could make an emoji a variable name. I remember seeing somebody do that. I'm pretty sure it was Scott. As a file is pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Truthfully, I don't really know the particulars of like which sockets are reserved or not reserved, or frankly, I don't even really know what is reserved versus unreserved. I mean, I kind of get it means that something's going to use it or not be able to because it's reserved, but I don't really know what would be doing that in this case specifically. I think it should work. Won't necessarily show up on the display. Oh, yeah. No, I don't think it would do that either. Yeah, with tile grid, because the built-in font has no emojis now. The built-in font had emojis, but then it would probably be way bigger, and they would probably only be single color, I assume. But there are like monocolor emoji sets out there. Probably the size is the biggest problem for that, I guess. If we wanted to have even remotely medium-sized set of emojis, I guess it would make the font bigger than it is today. We get another one. That's a cool song. Need audio and olfactory emoji. Okay, so for this one, let's grab the PR version and then we'll try it out with simple tests, and we can try it out with that visualizer, which is already running anyway, so. $30. Is that right? That. Drop it to here. I'm gonna delete the other one. Rosette size varies in Unifont. 16 by 16. Have monochrome emojis. Nice. Pulling down a lot of JSON data from an API, a quick emoji can help. Looking into emoji font stuff. Serenity OS? Serenity OS? TOS? That I don't think. No. It's cling. Nice. Oh wow. I love the oh wow. I love the the XP vibes are like 98 even almost. Huh. Yeah, Blinka, and then Blinka I think is a bitmap instead of a font. Like it kind of sort of looks like a snake emoji, but it is a separate bitmap, I'm pretty sure. Go inside there. What is that stuff? Clever. I recently added ANSI color codes to my USB debugging. Helps a lot, even with just one color implemented. Oh yeah, that's pretty sweet. Do you use the logging library for that, or do you have a separate logging solution? It does look like the logging library. The timestamps look the same. If you are so inclined, it'd be awesome if you want to submit a PR to the logging library. I think other people would probably find that pretty useful as well. Even if it's just the one color, like you say, that would point people in the direction of being able to use it, which would be pretty sweet. Stylus. Oh, I always do that wrong. Copy message link. That's going to be the link to the message, not the link that's in the message. Oh, correctly. Oh, there we go. Yeah, got a nice small set of emoji. Back to Serenity OS. Nice. Okay, so this is the tweet where they're talking about having it, or it's not a tweet, obviously, but okay, that looks familiar. Nice. Okay, we can. Did I? Okay, so I deleted it. I pasted a new one. We're good to go there. Let's rerun the visualizer, I guess. Let's see it. Maybe this time it won't be bouncing between 0 and 1. Let's see if that's the case. I can't just import it again, or I mean I could, but it won't work. We need to do this. Control C, Control D. Wish I could go arrow up, but I can't. One of these days I'm gonna look through TO and see if there's a way TO can save my history. Seems like a thing it might be able to do. Actually, no. I'm an up arrow abuser. And tab also. Yeah, see, this time we got UDP on 0 every time, and then established, and then we did change to 2 though. But 0 is always UDP. So that's the main difference here. Now it is going back and forth, but now it's going back and forth between 1 and 2 instead of 0 and 1, and 0 is marked as reserved effectively for UDP, it looks like. I'm not sure the particulars of what that means exactly to us, but you get the output, which is pretty cool. Let's stop that. Let's do simple test real quick also, which is, well, currently we have this, which is cheer light. Just run that one real quick. That should be setting our NeoPixel. Yeah. Oh, but it's so close. Oh, so close to white right now. Oh, timed out. Yeah, that's the wrong thing. It is setting our NeoPixel. Oh, it's not even close to white. It like is white actually right now. I think if you tweet or something with the right hashtag, you can cause this to change inside their server, basically. The color. Did turn it on and it is working. Let me do simple test also real quick. And I'll do the server one as well real fast. I think that's a good three of them to check. Simple test, cheer light, and simple server. Gives you two different request based ones and one server. Oh, excuse me. Oh wow, I had no idea I had that many colors. Are those all different? UDP being stateless means you don't have to connect. You don't have a connection receipt event. You always listen, else you miss messages. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Does make sense. Yeah, UDP, like a broadcast or whatever, broadcast packet across the network where everybody's kind of inherently listening all the time. Although, wait, no, that's multicast. Is that the same thing or is that a different thing? Maybe it's like a subset. Maybe that's one thing you can do with UDP. Okay, yeah. I messed with this a little bit once. So maybe that's what that socket is then. That socket's waiting for these multicast things, potentially? That 0 number socket? Could be. We end up on simple test. Did I run it? Save. Okay. Just got both. Simple server, let's do real fast. Empty string or 0.0.0.0. I think it means just bind to all interfaces. Yeah, I do use 0.0s like that sometimes on my PC when I want to run a server that listens on all, like, listens on my IP such that other computers on the network can access it rather than just localhost only. I don't think I've ever messed with zeros on the microcontroller. We're waiting so we can go run our original one of these ones. Oh, I did the thing underneath run, which is debug. I don't really use that much. Stop that. I am a printer more than a debugger. Oh, the port changed. It's good. I don't know why I can't stop this with Control C. It's kind of interesting. So we used to have new socket num, which got returned by socket accept along with address. We now just put it in the kind of like throwaway variable underscore. We used to set that to new listen sock num, which we got from there. And instead now we have client sock num getting created like that. Makes sense to me. I mean, I don't know much of the internal kind of like particulars, the difference between these, but I can see the difference in the output. And I can see that our examples all still work, so. $5,500, I think we decided was on there, right? Yeah, because that thing printed it out, didn't it? We didn't really, maybe not the best to say we decided that. So I get printed out, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Wasn't actually sure about that before. Socket swap in socket accept. So I think we're gonna go with socket accept fix, the name of the release on this one. And I think that's probably minor number because that was not breaking change. Didn't really make any difference to anyone. Really the only person that would make a difference to is if anyone was trying to use that zero socket for its intended purpose, I guess, if it was previously sometimes not being reserved successfully. But I don't know if that might be like misunderstanding of how it works in my mind, possibly as well. Look at this. O1 O.1 socket accept lowercase. Usually I'll do uppercase because it's in a title, but in this case it's a it's kind of like also part of the API, so which I guess it would be a variable socket, so it depends on what you call it, but lowercase is customary. This is for fix in socket.accept the reservation for the proper reservation of socket number 0. So that's probably going to freak out GitHub because it's going to think we're talking about a... Okay, it knows there's not one. Okay, that's good. Maybe we luck out because there is no 0. Maybe they start on 1. Kind of funny if that's the reason why it's working. Alright, that was Fast Eddie, something? 586, I think, something like that. Yeah, 516. I always like to double check. 00501 is definitely newer. Yeah, if you accidentally put a lower number here than the previous one, we'll get in trouble. GitHub will not be happy. Well, GitHub will be fine, but the way that our actions are set up, they will not do what they're supposed to, I think, or at least they used to not. I haven't done it in a while, luckily, so. All right, we're coming up on time, so I think I'm going to stop there. We got one more of these that's not mine, so there's one more that I could ultimately look into, but that I think we'll save for a different day. If folks are interested in more streaming CircuitPython content like this, you will be pleased to know that I am typically around on Saturday mornings as well. I was not last week because I was still without power, but most weeks I am streaming on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Central Time, working on CircuitPython stuff. I do anticipate that I should be around and streaming tomorrow morning. That's definitely the plan as of right now, so unless anything goes horribly wrong, then I'll be back tomorrow morning. I am not 100% certain what I'm going to work on for 100% certainty, but I will leave you with the teaser that I think the plan is playing with something that the Adafruit Fairy delivered to me today, which was the new Matrix Portal S3. Just got mine delivered today, so I have not even unpacked it yet, but I think I will bust that out and maybe start playing with that a bit tomorrow on the stream. So if you're interested in that, you could tune in tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Central Time. Like I said, I'll drop off links here in the Discord when I get going, because that is over on my own accounts on Twitch and YouTube, so it will be a different place than the current stream. Thank you to everybody who is watching this stream. I hope you all have a good rest of your evening and a good weekend and all that stuff. Thanks to all the folks in the chat who were helping out. Thanks to our PR authors, Biffo Bear, Fast Eddie, DJ Devon. I think that was all the PRs we looked at. If I missed anybody, I apologize, but thank you to everybody who submits any PRs or does any work on CircuitPython. I appreciate all of you. Yeah, so long for now. I will see you.